Hello and welcome to another episode of Diamond Cast. We're on 61 now, which means last week was our Diamond Cast anniversary, which is kind of cool, which we didn't think about until everyone said about it in the Discord. That's pretty cool. So since last episode, you guys have played a gig in London. How did that go?
Yeah, it's wicked. Really fun.
Yeah, I mean, we were just super impressed that people travelled from literally all over the world, from Germany, Netherlands, from America, and people from around the country as well. So it was really nice to feel that support. And when we were performing the actual show, it was great to have that sense of that kind of support right there. The people that we knew that were had really passionate and travelled a long way to see it. It meant a lot to us. So thank you guys for making that and those trips. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we played a secret live, which is the first time I've ever done that, and that went down really well.
Yeah,
I thought it was really sweet that Yanni shared that as well on his story.
It is.
It's his song from when he was 18, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Cool.
So that was really fun, yeah.
Well
and
done.
there's a bit of a. I'm glad it all came together as well, because the original venue pulled out on us like a week before, so we had to scramble to change venues and managed to make it work. And so everyone came along. It's really good. Yeah. Teamwork. That's really good.
Yeah, it was really good. And the dev stepped up at the last minute, didn't they? So, yeah.
We phoned like every venue in London.
and Healthy Junkies and Stella Nova were amazing as well, and got a whole bunch of new kind of crossovers of friends and fans and stuff in that gig. So I think it was a really successful night.
Yeah, man.
From my stand, I was standing by the merch desk the whole time, / holding two cameras at once. So I didn't really get much of a chance to leave that area, but it looked good from everyone else's pictures and stuff. Cool. So this episode, we are going to talk about writing, lyrics and songs, but in a way that's sort of angled towards trusting the listener. So what I would like to ask you both in terms of, like, you could talk about writing Diamond Black songs, you could talk about writing other songs that you've written, where it comes from, and how restrained or obvious or literal do you need to be when you're writing songs, with the lyrics specifically, and how much do you trust the listener to kind of infer things or adapt it to their own situations. So that's kind of really what I'm going to. So things like, so we're also talking about in relation to dark music. So does simplicity often hit harder in dark music?
Ooh.
that's a good question. I think sometimes there are two ways that it can happen. One is that sometimes in darker music, it can be more poetic, it can be more oblique. And say, for example, a band like The Cure, they may have a verse that is very kind of poetic and lyrical, and the chorus has quite a clear statement in it. Like the song Burn from the Crow soundtrack, the verses create this kind of sense of atmosphere, and then the chorus is a very clear, every night I call, every night I scream your name. It's this very clear kind of message that everyone can kind of relate to, whereas the verses build the atmosphere more. And that's something that I've tried to take on with songwriting, particularly with Diamond Black, is let's be more poetic and experimental in the verses, and let's have a chorus that's a bit of a clearer statement and a clearer message. And I think that's quite a good balance and to have.
I like the idea of it building up atmospheric, like brooding kind of atmospheres. Atmospheric atmospheres. I like the idea of building that up during the verses and then releasing it in the chorus. Do you find that generates more of a sense of euphoria with the audience?
Yeah, I think so, because then everybody's got that bit that they can sing along to, and often the more general a statement is, like, you know, say in one of our songs, "Is there anyone anywhere?" That's something that people can really put their own meaning to, and I think that's an important part of it. I, when it comes to dark music, it also, we're talking not just about like gothic music, but like metal music as well. And I wondered, what do you guys think about the very, very direct approach that metal can sometimes have?
Well, like I Hope You Die and stuff like that.
For example, right? But let's for example, do you know the classic, like the new metal breakdown, right? Where it goes into the middle of the song, it's like, and it does that quiet bit, and it's just some sort of repeated message. It's like
Limp Bizkit were good at this.
yeah, or Korn or Deftones. It's like, my pen doesn't work. 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 And then it's just like really angry. My pen doesn't work.
That would be quite annoying.
But the lyrics you chose for the example for that is something that gets progressively more annoying.
Exactly.
When your pen doesn't work and you're trying and you're really trying and the biro, the ball's not coming out.
You can't write any lyrics either,
more
can
and
you?
more annoying. So it fits the music you chose to put it with. I don't know if that was something you did deliberately or if you were just thinking of something innocuous to put to it to make it funny.
I guess it was innocuous that it was the juxtaposition, but normally that stuff would be something like, you don't know me, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Something
like,
painful and angsty.
Yeah. And I remember as a teenager going on like the dance floor to that music, and it was brilliant because everyone's like, yeah, you don't know me. And it's like, yeah, no one knows me. And then you have that kind of explosive.
I'm brand new here. I haven't really been to this club before.
Well, I mean, that's Rage Against the Machine, the other great example.
Yeah, perfect example. Rage Against the Machine probably being more of a paragon of it because their lyrics are really good and the message is always really good. But, you know, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
But that's something you shout out with that level of anger, you know, and then everybody.
But I really is you're doing what he's telling you.
Yeah, and that's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's like a protest song, but everyone's doing the thing they're protesting.
Yeah, they're making you shout the thing that says, I'm not going to do what you tell me.
Like, I guess when you're a teenager, you shout that and you think of your teachers or your parents or something, and then when you get older you think of the system or, you know, the government or something. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of any authority figure, you're shouting that out, and the cathartic release is being a festival getting to shout things out that they've put in their lyrics for you to shout.
Yeah, I just wonder if on reflection when you revisit that music, not Rage, but maybe some of the like new metal stuff, it's a bit cringe because it's like, oh, actually this is such a base and obvious expression
like a stuff like that.
then it's just a bit like, oh, that's just, you know, it's a bit lowest kind of the lowest effort to try and get people engaged. Like, yeah, no one knows me either. And
yeah, it's very small, very like something that everyone can relate to, or something that can cover a lot of bases, isn't it? It's not very specific to something.
Yeah, and I wonder,
you've got to be as angry and you're in.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And there are a whole, like there are with any genre, there's a whole slew of new metal bands that came out in the like late 90s and early 2000s that would just follow that template of those sort of lyrical exercises and the quiet bit and then the loud bit. And but maybe Rage is a good example of how the lyrics are usually very good and very well thought out and intelligent. So when you do have that very bold, aggressive statement on the chorus, it works because you've been building, again, some sense of a world, some sense of an argument that then leads to this point of release.
And you don't necessarily have to attribute it to something you're going through either. You can just hear the verse and go, oh, that's what the song's about. Okay, yeah, I can get angry about that, and then, you know, join in. Or maybe you're just not angry, but it's still fun to shout out anyway. It's fun to get permission to shout out, fuck you, I won't do what you told me.
Yeah, yeah.
Not actually angry.
Yeah, because you can just, as you said earlier, you can direct it at anything that's happening in your life at the moment. Whereas if it was, the chorus was, the political machinations of this particular party disturb me, it's not quite as, yeah.
Yeah, so back to your lyrics. So like in when you're writing something, I guess it's for both of you as well. Like, I know Adam told me that you do this as well. It's like do you look to particular songs and styles and go, oh, I really like that style, I'm going to try and like use that as a technique or as a tool in my writing?
I think I used to do this when I was younger, as a teenager. I used to take, I don't know if it's David Bowie or T-Rex, used to get loads of like one-liners they'd written over a period and then put them in a hat and then pull them out in order. And that would form the lyrics. So that's why it's all quite random one-liners, but they were quite cool. So that was one.
Well, so you just rewrite a song out of lyrics from.
Well, loads of ideas. Loads of ideas. No. Loads of ideas I've had over like 6 months. Then chop them, cut them all up and put them in a hat. And then.
Oh, your ideas.
Yeah.
Is that what Bowie and T-Rex did?
I think one of them did. I can't remember which one it was. Yeah. So that's like an exercise in coming out with some random funness. But now I try and write songs a bit more direct. And actually, I'll try and make the meaning of my songs quite obvious now. Because I'm writing songs that are sort of trying to be helpful to people. So I want to make sure people understand what the message is, not too cryptically.
So your songs come from a place of trying to help people with whatever they're going through, or whatever that could be. So it's is it cryptic, but not cryptic, but also
it's not like so obvious,
generic.
like, you know, I'm here to give you a hug or anything, but like the scenario that it's explaining or trying to help people through is I make it more obvious, so people can actually know what I'm on about, rather than.
Whereas in contrast,
in contrast to like Starscream stuff, which is quite sloganistic, stuff like that. So,
can you give an example of where you did the lines in a hat thing and what song?
I feel like it might be Dish Hour Scene, a Starscream song. I think that might be that one. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put a link in when you can.
The video for that, didn't we?
Yeah. When you see the image, you'll probably understand why it's all just made up of little good ideas. I'll put a link in there.
And so, Ben, with the Diamond Black lyrics, and then they're more related to kind of experience or based on experiences you've had, aren't they?
Yeah, and with the lyrics so far of the release songs, I do think that there is an element there where there could have been more room for clarity. And the way I've approached the album lyrics is that I identified, I got a critique of my lyrics, and it identified that there were 3 areas that could be improved upon. I think I've talked about this a little bit before. One was having more clear anchor points in the lyrics that people could understand and hold on to. So if you do want to have a poetic line, you then supplement it with something that is a bit more straightforward, so that you're putting it actually in a context and a place and a story. So it's not just like 8 lines of ooh, it's maybe 4 lines of ooh, but then
You
some
want people
lines
to actually get what the subject is.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to have those lines in there that are quite direct and more of a statement and more emotional, rather than everything being this sort of allegorical, ooh, what does that mean? I know what it means, but you don't. That was one. Second was progression. So I used to think that the state of the story can be exactly the same in minute 1 and minute 3. So you're upset about something, you're still upset about it in the third, and you're just upset about it in the same way, but you're articulating it differently. Whereas the critique suggested that I should develop the story. So something has happened, like act 3 of the story. There's been a change. The midsection illustrates a transition, and then by the end of the song, you've got a change. And that change doesn't necessarily mean you've solved the problem. It just means you're observing it in a different way.
It's almost like classic, like movie writing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Character arc.
Yeah, exactly that. Rather than it simply being, here is my character and they are the same in minute 1 and minute 3, there's been some sort of development that gives the song kind of a purpose. And the third one was about creating, what are the stakes? Why do we actually care about this story and this person? And that's more of an abstract one. How do you identify to the listener this matters, in the way that in a movie you identify the stakes by, okay, the guy's got to rob the bank because his family's starving, right? What is it in the song?
Been kidnapped.
Classic Neeson. So it's okay. So what are the stakes in the song? Why do we care about the voice of the song? And so trying to find ways of making it clear to the listener why this matters. Whereas, as I said previously, I just think, here's 3 minutes, let's just write some stuff that means something to me, rather than thinking in that more listener-based way of stakes, narrative, development, connection.
It's really very similar to like script writing and prose writing, in that to make something compelling and interesting to people, the storyline has to not be flat, and the characters have to have some sort of development. Unless you're Larry David and you're writing Seinfeld, the characters are deliberately, but that's the funny trope, is that the characters are deliberately
Never learn anything.
They never learn anything. They're selfish. They act in their self-interest all the time, but that's why it's funny, and that's why what happens to them at the end is inevitable. But I won't spoil it if you haven't watched it, because you should watch it. It's not what you expect, but what I was saying was, so in writing now, so it's like when you watch a film or a series, and if you kind of leave feeling unsatisfied and that this was a bit of a letdown, it's probably because the character arcs weren't, defined enough or clear enough for you to have some kind of personal relation to them. And it sounds very much like what you're talking about, writing a song. It's very much like like perceiving characters in a film or a story.
Yeah, although I think in a song it's more abstract, and unless your song is literally telling a story, it's more abstract because you aren't being so literal about this is what happens next in the story. But there are a number of songs on the album where I really made the effort to talk about a journey, a progression, and a lot of the stuff is about overcoming self-sabotage and limiting beliefs about yourself in a way that the song. Sometimes the chorus is changed, so the main line. Yeah, thanks, man. The main line on the chorus is slightly altered for chorus 1, 2, and 3 as the story develops and the agency of the person who's singing the song develops and they become stronger. So the first is from a place of difficulty, then you've got the second is a place of confrontation, and the third is a place of emancipation, whilst the key lyric of the song chorus remains the same. So yeah, that was something that I never would have considered previously. It's just like, well, it's the chorus, just make it exactly the same every time. Let's just make these subtle changes so that there's a story arc.
I love it when they change the chorus, like when songwriters change the last maybe the last chorus after the middle eight, or where it's a resolve, or where it's a key change or something, where the chorus is different and something else has happened, but they rhyme the word with the word that they've removed and replaced, so you don't notice it straight away, and then you're like, hang on a minute, it means something else now, and that's really, I like that. I think that's.
I feel like there's a balance, because some people would say that's a cardinal sin because it would make it much more uncommercial because it adds confusion to the average listener.
Oh, really? Do they say that?
Well, yeah, because you want it to be very easy, memorable, and something you go away singing. And changing the lyrics each time adds more confusion, but then that actually adds more interest to other listeners. So it's there's a balance.
I guess if you can keep, say that your chorus goes A, B, A, B. So the A is the da-da-da bit, and then the B bit is the da-da bit, right? The da-da-da bit can change, but the da-da bit stays the same. I think you understand what I mean, right?
Yes.
So that allows you to have that sort of character development.
It's also sorry, I had two thoughts at once. Adam, you said about the hardest song to learn the lyrics to was Smashing Pumpkins, 1979.
Oh yeah, that's really annoying. Oh, because that does change the lyrics quite often as well in each chorus.
It changes every time, doesn't it? It's never the same.
Yeah, and the breaks in the sentences are not on the ends of the melodic lines. It's really confusing. Sentences run over lines.
But that's really artistic for the song, right? Because the song's about memories and nostalgia, which are always blurring into each other.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So the actual technical art skill used to create those lyrics in that way is just even to think about doing that.
It's almost like he's
and to execute it so well.
Yeah, written a poem and then got to try and fit the melody. But I guess
the Manic Street Preachers.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, here's a load of lyrics, try and make it fit to your song, and that's why you get weird breaks.
Would you guys feel that for that Smashing Pumpkins example, it's actually on brand for them as an artist?
Yeah.
And as Nat said, it expresses what the song is expressing. The fact that it's doing that is expressing the overlap and the metamorphosis of memory and nostalgia.
He does that quite a lot in this song, right? And actually, he's probably pretty abstract with his imagery as well. It's very hard lyrics to remember.
Why would you call a massive ballad mayonnaise?
Exactly. There you go.
I think it's very fine art. If you go the traditional fine art would be painting a sculpture and things like that. But I think that the layers of metaphor in Smashing Pumpkins' work, it's very, very sort of akin to fine art.
Yeah, it's
as opposed to just.
That's why people call it pretentious.
I don't think that's pretentious. Why?
No, but some people might say it.
I think it's pretentious just to have one droning note for 30 seconds.
Longer the note, the more the dread.
Maybe if it's just if that's Ross from Friends when he did the keyboard and he was that. I think that kind of thing's pretentious, but I don't know. I think it's clever, it's daring, it's bold.
We like it.
But yeah, so talking about trusting the listener. So what I meant when I wrote that was so when you read something, when you read a good book, you can read one paragraph. I'm going to take the example of, I've got a point here. I'm going to take the example of the first opening paragraph of the book, The Hunger Games, the first one. There's only 4 lines in it, but when you read it, you can feel it's evoked about 20 lines of text of meaning in your mind, but there's only 4 lines on the page. And it's insane how your brain does that, because the writer trusts the reader to infer those things by writing things that she knows can evoke those things in your mind from what she's got, from those few words that she's chosen very carefully. And so in a similar way, I think songs do this more, like, because in prose there's a lot of, like, a good writer will do this quite often, but in a lot of prose there's got to be some literal stuff as well. And I was wondering if in songwriting, I feel like you can be more poetic, you can be more you can be more artistic, because you have to make things rhyme and you have to make things sound like, repeat things and so on to fit with the music as well. So how much do you rely on trusting the listener to evoke things, and how much do you use that as a tool and use literalism as a tool as well?
Well, it's a bit like filmmaking, isn't it? It's how much do you trust the viewer. Stuff happens off screen. That could be like a sound of something and we know what it means, or a whole scene is missing, but we didn't need it because we understand what happens in the scenes before and after. And as a viewer, you get a lot of, I think, a joy of putting it together yourself and not having it spelled out. Often it's funny when something happens off screen and you see someone's reaction, but and you enjoy putting it together yourself. Same thing in horror as well, of what is actually off screen can be more
worse.
Yeah, because you're creating it yourself. Yeah. And therefore the director is gone, I trust my viewer to be able to create something hilarious or terrifying. And speaking of not terrifying,
both hilarious and terrifying.
Yeah, it's absolutely it's trusting the viewer to do that. And I think that's a really powerful thing, that when we enjoy when we put things together ourselves, as a viewer.
You feel like rewarded. You feel like you did that, and the reward you get is kind of understanding, and I think that helps your brain grow. Like, it helps your brain like form connections to things around you, rather than like being just spoon fed everything. That's why kind of people get bored with, again, stories that don't have an arc. Because they don't make you work for it.
Yeah, in fact, if things get over-explained, to us, it bores us. It sometimes can slightly insult us. Like, you didn't think I was going to get it. You have to explain it, and it takes away the humour of it a lot.
We're watching that new series by Vince Gilligan, right? I don't know if you've seen it. What's it called, Natalie?
Pluribus.
Yeah, and like we were like trying to figure out what's going on, and then like halfway through the first episode, it's just like an exposition dump, and they tell you everything. And I was like, that ruins the fun of trying to figure it out.
Well, I don't.
I know there's more episodes to
Vince Gilligan would do that.
I know, but it seemed like it's probably not
he's
true.
He's written and directed that Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. So I think that is a misdirection, because I don't think that Vince Gilligan would just, information dump everything in the first episode. So I think there's something else to it.
But that's like, I've got a question for Ben, based on what Natalie said a minute ago, about rhyme. That's something that's very different about songwriting. Do you think having to rhyme everything is restrictive, or it allows you to think more outside the box for different things to match up to the lyrics, but you have to fit it all together? Because you can try to write a song that doesn't rhyme, but then it just sounds unresolved. So
really, really good question. And there's something musically opposite and about hearing things rhyme. It's like a sonorous. It's like hearing things being in tune sounds good. Hearing things rhyme sounds good in a song. I think there's I've got a lot of time for half rhyme. I think there's a lot of half rhyme. It's when you rhyme
and greed or something like that.
Exactly. Or
like what Eminem does.
Yeah, or life and bright. Because they've got an I sound.
You can also pronounce it slightly differently when you're singing.
Yeah, exactly. So those half rhymes, I think there's a lot of time for those, and within the framework of the song, and as you say, the way that you sing it, and the fact that the flow of the music carries it forward, it gives you a lot more scope to be interesting. You can also have a word that is perhaps three or four syllables long. And then the rhyming word doesn't also have to be 3 or 4 syllables long. It could be perhaps 2 different words. or only the last syllable rhymes.
Do you think it's where like him fall into a trap because there's only so many words that rhyme with like love or death, and that's basically the subject of all their songs.
and I think sometimes I, as a writer, get a little bit frustrated when I hear someone rhyming fire with desire again. It feels like you just haven't bothered, and that for me takes away the authenticity.
Venus.
But honestly, it comes out so many times, and in fact, loads of the bands I like use it. Right, those are the bands I like use the fire desire. I'm like, oh, stop it, guys. And it just feels like you haven't really thought about what you're saying. You're just going, okay, well, that'll do, because it's so common.
It works. Someone else has done it many times, so I'm going to just do it. Yeah, it's a cliche. It's like any other cliche in you can do it in a funny way, like an homage. Like horror films do this really well. It's like I'm going to do an homage to like Hammer horror or like traditional slasher movies or whatever, and then you put your trope in there, but you could like twist it on its head a little bit because that's another thing they do. So I don't know.
If we're trying to write in the style of a song.
Yeah, if you're trying to write in the style, you do fire and desire, but then maybe you might change it to mean something different, because you imagine what those two words what the rest of the lyrics are, you could infer, but what it would be about, you could change it.
What about you, Adam? Do you find it? Sorry, Nat, what were you saying?
No, nothing.
Do you find rhyming limiting, or do you find it actually gives you a framework? Because otherwise you could say anything. If there's some sort of there.
I think actually when I was doing my technique of just random phrases, it's quite good because it doesn't really have to make sense. It just has to rhyme. But I think it can lead to some shit lyrics because people are deliberately making things rhyme just to fit, or like pretentious things, like putting an overly complicated word in to make it fit with the previous sentence. So it can lead to, that's like poetry, I guess, can lead to shitness or inspiration. If you're like deliberately searching for a word to fit your rhyme and it's just like, oh shit, I'm going to have to shoehorn this in because I really like the lyric that come before it, then it could be.
Yeah, then it's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that obvious? Would you feel like exposed as a writer? If people will look at that and go, you shoehorned that. Like if you're writing like a limerick, say, it has certain rules it has to follow. And if you get them right, you're a genius. And if you shoehorn something in, everyone thinks it's silly.
That's true.
Yeah, and I think a point was made then about overcomplicated words, and I've been guilty of doing this a lot in my writing. That's an interesting word. I'll put that in. I think better writing is actually using is avoiding complicated or esoteric words, just using the words that we've got that we're used to in an interesting way, marrying together concepts in a new authentic way that makes you go, whoa, that's amazing. Someone who was really good at that was Richie Manick. If you look back through his words, he doesn't really use big words. He just uses really incisive and cool and juxtaposed words. And I think that's the art when it comes to songwriting and lyrics. Yeah.
Yeah. If you over-explain lyrics, does it have a tendency to make music feel less dark?
Well, to tell people what it's about.
Yeah, but in the lyrics, yeah.
Oh, right.
Like if you over-explain your lyrics in the lyric kind of thing, does it make the music does it take away from the mood?
I think it can do because it becomes so specific. You say, your song is like, then I met John on Hayward Street and we went and got 73 bus. It's like, well, I can't really get on board the bus with that. Because you've been so specific, I can't put my own meaning on it. So I think it can do it. And sometimes, especially if you've listened to a song for years and then you find out the true meaning. Have you ever had it where you're like, oh, it sort of ruins it a bit because you'd made it your own. You'd made it about your own feelings and experiences. And then when you hear what it's actually about, you're like, oh, that kind of ruins it. Even if what it's about is, understandable. It's like, well, I liked not knowing. Do you guys ever have that?
I had it the other way around with Perfect Day by Lou Reed. I did not know it was about heroin, and when I found out, I was like, oh, wow, that hits hard.
Yeah, I guess it could change the complete meaning of something when find out what it's actually about. I mean, it depends, like, some lyricists, like Stereophonics, are very storytellers with their songs. Like, it's like, most of his lyrics are telling a story. And actually, one of the last tracks on, I can't remember if it's Performance of Cocktails, is a story about getting robbed at a school. I stopped to fill my car up. And it's a story about like getting robbed while filling his car up. And then at the end of this song, he says, I just made up all this story. And so he's like playing with the idea that he's a storyteller. Because all the
in the
songs,
lyrics he says that.
Yeah.
So is it
at
true?
the end of the song, he just says, "I made up the story to get your attention, makes me smile."
How do you feel about that?
That's quite meta. I don't know. But all the other tracks on the album are real stories that are observations and stuff. So it's like sort of.
And does he in his lyrics does he name characters about?
Yeah, quite often. Yeah.
Right, as actual names.
Quite often.
Right, okay.
A lot of the songs, yeah. So
when you listen to him telling a story like that,
Yeah.
do you feel connected or do you feel a bit alienated? Because it's like, well, it's about Jim and Sarah. I don't really care.
Well, I guess they're a bit like pulp. They're sort of like observations as well as just stories. It's not just about like these are two people and that was what they did. It's more like societal observations as well. So they're actually quite engaging and quite holds your attention throughout the story, I find, or throughout the song.
Yeah.
But it's very difficult. You have to be a good storyteller and a good songwriter and fit it all together. So,
Like what's like the lyrics to Pulp's a good example. Like the lyrics, I only really know the Different Class album.
Good album.
And songs like Disco 2000, there's such clear lyric imagery in there that I don't have a first-hand experience of, but the way that he describes the characters in it draws you into the story, even if you're not feeling, oh, that's so me.
Yeah, it's not relatable, but you can sort of follow along, yeah.
Yeah, and you feel something because it's so vividly painted, the story. And there is an overarching feeling that you can connect to of sort of loss and friendship and stuff like that. Within those pulp lyrics, I think.
Yeah,
A person who, well, I mean, I've never worked on the docks or in a diner, and I'm fully invested in Tommy and Gina's story.
Living on a prayer.
But a person who does stories quite well that gets you emotionally is Eminem. And I didn't realise how much of a genius he actually is until you actually sit and read all the lyrics, because you can hear the music and stuff and you pick out bits like, oh yeah, that's cool, that's a cool rhyme. But then when you actually read the stories he's written, because, you know, there's like about 3 times as many words in an Eminem song as a normal song. And it's that plus the way that he the tone that he uses when he's rapping, that you kind of, it's a really like strong, sometimes often tragic, terrible story that he's telling in each song.
I remember Guilty Conscience is one I remember quite a lot from when I was younger. And that's like the tale, 3 different stories of like people cheating or whatever. And then his conscience comes into play and narrates what's going on in the scenario.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
But then
So
the two characters. Then the two characters that plays the conscience, they have their own story that evolves overarching of the 3 mini stories. So that's pretty fucking clever.
Yeah. They're all clever. They're all really like unique as well. Like really unique, but with his own very unique style. They're all unique, separate little individual stories. About sometimes they're about his life, aren't they? Sometimes they're about other people. But
that's a lot of storytelling.
Yeah,
So I guess there's lots of different ways to do lyrics. Got to find your own voice, maybe.
Yeah,
Is that something that made him stand out as a rapper? The fact that there was that depth and thought that had gone into the lyrics.
Yeah, I think so. No, I don't want to shit on rap music too much, but it's not about like guns and hoes and stuff like that. It's more conceptual, which is quite interesting.
More commercial, but also I think Eminem came from, I don't know, I don't know how much of 8 Mile is actually true, but didn't he start off like growing up in like doing like rap battles and things like that, where you have to be really good at thinking of what you're going to say on the spot, because you're like talking about someone or to someone that you're battling with.
Oh, I know someone that can do that. It's amazing. I just give him a subject who will go off rapping about it like straight away and make really clever rhymes. I'm like, I don't.
Can you give him 4 or 5 subjects and he can make it?
Yeah.
Make
I don't understand how he does it. Well, like that guy who works on YouTube.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah. What's his name? Chris Turner.
Yeah, something like that.
Chris Turner?
Yeah.
He's a comedian. He does like, he just asks the audience for some subjects, and then they give him subjects and he tells a coherent story, weaving in all of those subjects as a rap immediately.
That's pretty amazing. That's quite an amazing skill that I just don't understand how people can do.
Like the final evolution of Benny C and Vinny V.
Well, yeah, it's completely next level. I guess it's about, can you improvise on your instrument? And if you're so familiar with the way that language works, that you can then just pull on those, pull those words out of your kind of your memory bank, I suppose, of like, right, I can see the end of this sentence coming, so I know I'm gonna, like, in the same way I can see the end of this phrase coming that I'm playing, I'm gonna end on this note. I guess it's something similar, the way that you
get better through practice.
You also have to think about words and meaning. Like when you're playing an instrument, you're thinking about sound and melody and how this and beat. But with words, you also have to think about meaning and rhyme, as well as sound and melody and beat.
Yeah, and fit the amount of syllables you got and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's next level.
Or carry them over. Eminem does a lot of carrying syllables over to the next sentence as well, which I quite admire, because that's quite like he's not just thinking about this sentence, and he's not just thinking about like he's thinking about the beat of the next sentence and how that will be carried from this. It's like it's some sort of like double level of mental gymnastics. It's insane. It's great. I want to do that.
Start a rap battle, Natalie.
No, I can't. I always think of something and then, but too late. And then, I'm like, I should have said that. That would have been great. And it's like, no, I can't even say a full sentence now when I'm speaking. So how am I going to do rap?
Joke's still called. Okay.
So is ambiguity in lyrics? Would you say that would be lazy or respectful to the listener?
I think if the ambiguity is only ambiguous to the listener, but it's still specific to the writer and conveys what they wanted to express, and thus they can put it into their performance. So if the writer spent a long time really getting this particular image that really conveyed what they felt, even if other people don't understand it, that is a laudable way of doing it, because then the expression of it, the emotion that's coming out, they are really conveying that because it really means something to them. And so even if the listener is like, I don't know what that means, the writer does, and the performer does, and that authenticity comes out in that performance.
That is the key, isn't it? It's authenticity when you sing what you mean.
Yeah, exactly. And if, as a writer, you've searched to find those phrases and those images because they really convey the meaning to you, and you can deliver them with the emotion, then it doesn't necessarily matter that the listener doesn't understand the word, the phrasing. They can understand the emotion.
It's ambiguity. It's like what you're saying about Perfect Day. There's a lot of songs that I can think of that are written about heroin that don't mention heroin directly.
Well, you can't be seen to be glamorizing it, can
exactly.
you? So you have to write about it as if it's like a love letter or something.
Yeah. So I guess that's ambiguous, but it means that they know what they're on about.
Yeah, it can be respectful to the listener as well, to be like, well, I'm going to shield you from actually the horror of what this is really about by singing a nice song about a lovely day. And then you sing it for ages. You know, you go around thinking, oh yeah, that's a really nice emotional song, or you know, when did I have a nice perfect day? And then you find out it's about heroin, and you're like, oh. Then it makes it like, it doesn't ruin it though. It sort of makes it loads better and more meaningful. And even though I've never taken heroin, I still think I still feel the kind of darkness that he feels in the song.
In the early 90s, when grunge came in, there was, from my perception, a choice to make lyrics more ambiguous after, in reaction to the kind of the 80s rock stuff. The grunge lyrics, the Nirvana lyrics, for example,
better than the Nirvana lyrics about heroin.
Are so like, what is this even about? And I remember as a kid thinking that's quite cool, because it's so sort of like using bizarre, like, everyday imagery, and it being so oblique. Like, you know, the lyrics are things like. What's that? Lithium? Is it lithium?
Yeah, lithium. Yeah.
Like, all the lyrics to that are so bizarre.
Why is it called lithium?
I don't know.
Isn't that a drug as well, isn't it?
Oh, is it?
Oh, I don't know. Don't quote me.
And
quick Google.
Most of the because that was the first Nirvana album I heard was Nevermind, and so at that point in time, hearing these really weird lyrics that are angular and odd and strange imagery and no kind of context or relation, and then the chorus is something completely different. To what degree was that reactionary against things being quite spelled out by 80s rock music? to actually let's
the
subvert
antithesis,
everything. Let's subvert everything, not
Well,
just the
especially,
sound
like,
and the image.
80s rock was getting all like, about girls and about big bravado and stuff. And so again, like we were saying last week about how genres change, it's a reaction to what was before, isn't it?
Yes, exactly that. So yes, you were saying that the big bravado, this is more about insular, this is more fragile, it's more vulnerable, it's more self-effacing, and weird. And I guess just the intrigue of that was part of that reactionary movement. I remember when I was a kid thinking, I'm just going to write lyrics that mean nothing as well, as part of that. That's kind of cool, isn't it? I'm going to write a song about my cardigan and a cup of tea.
The pen not working.
Yeah, exactly. The pen doesn't work.
Well, I just googled what lithium is. It's a drug that treats bipolar disorder. So that might help in understanding the way the lyrics are all over the place, because it's possibly a character that is dealing with that kind of way of thinking.
And why the chorus is different to the verse.
And why the chorus is different.
When the chorus is just isn't it?
Is that when you take the drug? When and everything just is like it kind of gets better, but the rest of it is like just kind of like worrying about, like, he's like, I'm so ugly, I'm so happy, but he says it in the same kind of monotone. I'm so ugly, I'm so happy, but like, is it?
Yeah, you're right. The delivery doesn't really change, and that's from what I can remember of Kurt's delivery. It's often all pretty much in one. The verses are all much in one space, and the chorus is in this other space. It's almost conversational poetry rather than expressing this line is more important than that line.
Brilliant songwriting.
Yeah, really, really. It's sort again kind of a bit like Mannix.
Yeah, so there's lots of different. We've gone over loads of different songwriting, lyric writing styles while we've just been discussing this. I guess the key is to find your own style that you like and find your own voice and see what you want to say. It sounds really
It evolves over time as well, depending on what you get exposed to.
But like, it seems quite true.
I was chatting to my colleague about this yesterday, like how each individual human being is literally like a melting pot of everything they've ever seen and heard, and or experienced or felt or been part of or been in their life, right? Or has happened to them. And all of those things is how you then, the melting pot of you creates stuff based on all of those things. That's why everyone's like unique, and I don't think AI can really emulate human or ever will be able to. And so I don't think we have to worry too much. Everyone who's worried about, AI replacing humans, I don't think it will at all, because it can't do that one thing that humans can do, which is kind of create things based on that unique set of experiences, especially if like,
even subconsciously as well. Sort of,
yeah.
Not even things.
And how you distill those things over time as well. Like if you've had some experiences traumatic or something when you were younger, or you lived through a collective trauma like, COVID, right? You then distill those experiences, like all of us have distilled the experience of the lockdown in a different way. And so we're going to go away, and as people who are creative, create things in our own way, write lyrics in your own voice that come from how you perceive a thing that was that induced fear into your heart.
Good.
So
maybe.
Yeah, it's a good point, and that's really interesting what you said about COVID, because that's one of those things where I think we've got enough space from it now to look back on it and go, oh wow, what were you doing then? How did it affect you? And you get some really interesting stories of like, where were you during that? To sort of compare people's experiences.
When you spend your lockdown, how did you just like a lot of people like, I decided to spend my lockdown, in my parents' country house or something. It's like, wow, okay, that's like a clever move. Like anticipated it and just went and did that. It's lovely. But like, yeah, I think some people had it much harder, and we felt a lot of stress and a lot of lack of agency. I'm going to go off on a tangent, but basically, Adam, I had a dream. I had a dream last night about being really, really scared, and that the whole world had completely changed. Basically, we all had to live underground because there was an alien invasion, took over everything else, and killed
all the worlds.
Sort of, but all humans went and lived underground, and we were there, and we established like a quite merchant, like a colony. It was a bit like the Pirates of the Caribbean dark ride. Underground, so it was like dark feeling, and there was water and there was merchants and things like that. The point being is that the first initial invasion was so like horrible, and they just murdered people in the street, and life wasn't important and everything. And I was there for that. I was terrified, and the feeling of the fear is the same feeling I had during COVID, right? And I got up in the morning and I was scared. So I was not scared. I was just like, oh, that was horrible and unsettling. So I told ChatGPT about my dream, and ChatGPT came back with this whole thing, and I was saying, it's to do with COVID because it's the same feeling I had then. And ChatGPT was like, that connects completely well with what you're doing is just kind of your brain now feels comfortable and safe enough for you for your subconscious to analyze those fears in now there's been enough time that has passed, and for you to experience those in your dream.
Interesting.
So that's the processing process, is that enough time had to have passed for you to be able to conceptualize it like that.
Yeah, and then record it as a memory and know and learn from it and experience it. Because I said to ChatGPT, how can I bottle that and use that in my novel? Because I know that this is a feeling that I want to keep hold of. But now I've taken it away from being a fear and put it into,
it's good productive.
Well, I'm going to put it into one of my characters. That sense of, it's a sense of loss for your own future. Because the key crux of it was, at the time, I thought, like, I wouldn't have a job anymore, and we wouldn't have any creative jobs because there wouldn't need to be any creative jobs, because we just need to start learning how to do, like, I'm useless at manual labour, but that's what we need to do, because like everyone was going to die, half the population was going to die because of COVID, and there wouldn't be any need for web designers or videographers anymore, because that's all stuff that you have in a very comfortable society. Go back to a place where we need people to like build farms and stuff.
Yeah. We need musicians.
And no musicians, no. Well, no, you probably still need musicians to kind of like, keep morale up.
Wandering bards.
Yeah, we could do
Wandering
that.
bards, yeah.
Did you warn me about that? Because I hate people telling me about their dreams.
Yes.
Thanks.
But I also know that the audience is going to like it because
they know too.
And also, let me tell you something about this. It's going to rain all week.
Right, that's great. Okay.
There you go.
I did actually check the weather forecast yesterday, and I wasn't happy about it. There you go.
On the telly?
No, that's a step too far on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay. How are we doing?
Cool. So yeah. So last question, do you find that mystery deepens the meaning in writing when you keep things mysterious?
Do you mean you keep your meaning obscure?
Yeah,
I'm wearing a t-shirt that's very appropriate for keeping mysterious meanings in this.
Go on, show us.
My Donnie Darko one was Southern House, but I think Donnie Darko's got such a cult-like status because of the mystery that people will try and figure out what it's actually about. So
I had many conversations with my dad when I was a kid about what Donnie Darko was about. Yeah, in all of art, right? Does mystery, too much mystery is like, what did I just watch?
Yeah,
but then
you're in David Lynch territory.
Yeah, but then when you get older, you can sit and argue about it for ages, and you can talk about it, and then everyone has their own opinion. So then people start watching it, so it becomes a timeless film.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen The Life of Chuck?
No, I don't think so.
It's a new thing on Netflix. It's this from a Stephen King, developed from a Stephen King novella. I watched it the other day. It's really good. It's the kind of film that you don't have all the answers, so you're thinking about it for days afterwards.
Yeah, cool.
But not in a way where you're like, oh, well, that didn't make sense. You're like, but what did that mean?
Yeah, that's
why did that happen? I think it's really intriguing, and the delivery of it's really good, and it goes. It jumps through time as well. It starts at the end of his life, when it's also the end of the world, and then jumps back through his lifetime. These two different scenes.
You're speaking my language now.
I'd be interested to know what you guys think about it, and if you have any answers as to.
Should we go do some homework?
My questions.
It's a fantasy drama. Fantasy drama in reverse chronology.
Oh, cool.
Stephen King is a genius, isn't he? Like the way he just breaks rules and knows his stuff so well, knows his genre, and he just writes so much all the time. What did we watch the other day? That was his first.
Like the long walk or something like that. I can't remember what it's called.
Do you watch the new film of it?
Yeah, I watched the new film of it.
Yeah, have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it, and it's It's a book I really enjoyed as a kid.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, it was really cool. We feel like it's just a character study, really.
And for a modern Hollywood film, there was a lot of dialogue and a lot of character, which I thought was really cool. I also like the fact that the hero, Garrity, he wasn't like some kind of super guy. He was just a bloke, which made it a lot more sort of, I think, relatable. But without spoilers, you know, when they get a ticket, right?
Yes.
And each player gets a ticket.
Yeah.
In the book, it doesn't reveal what getting a ticket means until it actually happens for the first time, which I think was more powerful because at that point you thought getting a ticket presumably just meant literally, oh, you're out of the race. That's it. Go home.
Cool.
But in the book, it seems like Garrity is as shocked as you are when the first instance of that happens, which was really
good spoiler free talk.
we watched it and we talked about it for like 2 hours afterwards, because then we googled the storyline from the book, because the book and the film are slightly different endings. And both of them, and then there's a secret ending of the film. There's like 2 endings of the film, and they're all three endings are really like valid in their own way and really interesting to discuss the meaning of. And I really think we should do like a deep dive on this film like separately to this cast, because I don't want to ruin it for anyone.
Okay, that'd be fun.
But yeah, like maybe we do that. Maybe we all have a like just a like, because we've got our own like different theories on the film, Ben. Like Adam and I have got our own different theories on the ending and what that represents and what each character represents and how they go on, you know, afterwards.
Yeah, cool. We could do that. That'd be fun.
So yeah, that might be quite good.
Nice. Well, I think we're running
I feel like I want to read the book though before we do it. So I've got.
You should read it. It's quite
the book and the film.
And it's quite a short book. I think it's like under 200 pages, but it's really compelling. It's really compelling, like it's proper page turner. So yeah,
nice.
Good stuff,
It's
guys.
the first book Stephen King ever wrote at university, isn't it? He wrote it in 1967 or something when he was at university, and he was inspired by the Vietnam War.
Wow,
Yeah,
impressive.
cool. Right.
Or the loss of people and the not the Vietnam War itself, but the effect of the Vietnam War.
Yeah, cool.
Right.
Unfortunately, I've got to go out, guys. So
Okay.
Oh yeah.
that was a lovely cast. Thank you everyone for watching.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. If you've got
We'll see you next week.
any recommendations for us, let us know.
Cool. We'll see you next week.
Cool.
Bye.
Next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Yeah.